Hi. Okay, I stopped myself in my last video. Starting over. 78 Degrees of Wisdom, a book of tarot, Rachel Pollock, revised with a new preference. The preference is to the 1997 edition. First done in 1980. I saw the two volume, this is in one volume, together in one volume, the classic texts that helped launch the modern tarot renaissance. So, in a used bookstore that I usually go to, I've seen it volume 1, volume 2, but I'm kind of glad. Well, I am glad that I got it in one book. By Wiser Books. I got it for 8. When it was released, it was 20. So I wouldn't. Might be that today, but I don't know. It's divided into 3 parts: major, minor, and about spreads. So she uses, she states, on page 8, she uses the pack as her primary source, where other people will use it as their illustrations. She does use it as her illustrations, like on the cover and throughout the book. But she does base her writing, use it as her primary source. She picked, the paragraph above it. She chose the pack as her source for 2 years, and first, as many of its innovations extremely valuable. The Waite Smith version of the Fool strikes her more meaningful than any other earlier ones. Secondly, the revolutionary change in the minor arcana seems to her to free us from the formulas that dominated suits for so long. Because previously you had to memorize what it meant, but by now you look at the picture, like 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, whatever the card may be, and you let the picture do it, even though, like she mentions, the definition he wrote would be different from the picture. So there's that. And on page 16, the tarot depicts a version of the key. It is not the key, that's italicized. Just as it is not really a secret doctrine, it represents a process. And one of the things it teaches us is to make a mistake when we assume that the unification comes through any simple key or formula. Rather, it comes through growth and increased awareness as we travel step by step through the 21 stages of the major arcana. So, it goes description, she does describe very different things. She doesn't go straight and uses one thing. She does talk about the Kabbalah and astrology, about the tarot, because it is part of tarot's history and what it is. She does make the point where there's 2 approaches, as separate entities or them as a sequence. I like to think them as a sequence. I like to think of it as like the Fool's Journey, because the Fool is 0. I like to have it 0, 1, or others would put at the fool at the end and start with the magician first. She does use other decks like figure B to show the differences. So, like you see the animal biting his leg instead of where in the weight deck the dog is kind of like jumping behind him. Yeah, so each of the major arcana will go in depth for a few pages, and like she'll talk about things like she made a reference to Moby Dick, to the King Arthur legends and Merlin, and she's made a reference to the Batman and Joker, how it wasn't not descended from the Fool, but from a New York poker club as a wild card to make the game more interesting. So the Fool does still have the joke like gesture quality. That's where you can see for yourself where how it's come from. And she does bring in different things like Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, the symbols from there that are within the cards, and another deck that I think that's from Crawley's deck. I will never understand that deck. There are people who do. Great on you, but I won't. The Lovers. So like you have choice. Like you have more choice. Because there was earlier versions. It was called The Choice. Would you go with something respectable and perhaps dull, or greatly desired but morally improper? There's those comparisons. So each description of the major kind of does last a few pages. I'm sure I said that before. But yeah. And you can see a real jump between earlier decks like this one with Death and Waste, because like he did make that shift, because he did things like she just mentioned like her word, like I can't fully remember her wording, but he did think he was like better with his better than the earlier versions, and like with his knowledge he was like he could separate from the old and new, and it was different. Temperance, like for me there is a slight there is minor changes like added or like removed, but like they are similar. these ones are similar in comparison to me. And then so the song from Two Children to One on a Horse. Then it goes into the minor. So she does talk about the suits and and help let's give us more information about the minor. So am I reading while thinking of something? Likely didn't want to see that. So she just started with the wands. Just give a little 2 pages about wands. So we'll go from king, queen, down to ace, and so give this description, and then it'll go the reversed meaning. There's a lot more you can say with I guess 4 cards, and then the others tend to be about 2 pages. 1.5. But you do got this description and reverse meanings. So then I'll go into cups, and so she goes on the same way as she has before with the other cards. So then there's swords, pentacles, and like in some cases she'll bring in other cards to with the card. So readings, in the readings introduction, there's a common sense 265. Many people say that tarot readings scare them. What they mean by this is first a discomfort that anything should expose their experiences as well as their interior fears and their hopes, and second, that a pack of cards should do so. Yeah, and she goes on types of readings. She talks about the significator. Not everybody does use it. And she goes kind of like step by step of a Celtic cross, like that, and what it means. She's done a sample, kind of like reading. Well, it's a sample right there. Keep hitting the mic. Not used to it being there. Positions. How to use tarot readings. That's chapter 12. The value of a tarot reading, at least for the subject, depends on what he or she does with it afterwards. For these people who come to a reader out of curiosity or as a game, the reading will probably pass by their lives. little a show they watch from the audience, but this show concerns them, and if the reading means anything real, they will want to put it to some practical use. So, that's the beginning of the chapter. What we learn from tarot readings, most people consult a tarot reading for specific information. Those who understand the cards a little more may look on the reading as a means for finding a direction. And I get that, and I understand that. And guidance, directions. That's like how I've seen the tarot. So, for bibliography, it's about a page. It's like a page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 sources. And so, like you can see, she's, latest 78, earliest 32, other than the Weight deck, 1918, she has it 1958. Yeah, like here. Yeah, my lamp on to see better, so you can see me a little better. Be a little darker if I did turn it off. But yeah, like I do think this is worthwhile to have a look at. Like it is very informative. She does know what she's talking about. 30 years teaching, reading, and writing about tarot cards. So yeah, she does know what she's talking about. An in-depth analysis of the tarot, examining all aspects of the cards, which she does. I like it. Like if you're a tarot, like someone looking into tarot and looking for more in-depth kind of look rather than just what a pack booklet gives you, this is something to check out. And I'm gonna keep this on my bookshelf. Not one of the books I'm gonna give up soon. So, once again, 78 Degrees of Wisdom, a book of tarot. I suggest getting it in the one volume. But if you want it, like it's separated, like the major, minor, like it has been in the past, you can do that depending on how you want to work with depending on how you work with the cards. So that's an option for you. So, but to me, I like it all in one. So there you go. I know this has been long, but yeah, thank you. Happy readings.